What to expect. After a month, your overall tone will improve and morning fog will disappear. Chapter 10. What to expect in 1, 2, and 3 months. After a month and a half or two, your energy returns for the entire day. After 3 months, you notice you've started doing things you've long given up. Some have returned to their dachas and their vegetable patches, others to the park with their grandchildren for the whole day, and still others to dancing once a week. And one last thing. I usually don't mention this at appointments. I don't have time, and the format isn't right. I'll say it here. Fatigue after 50 isn't an age-related death sentence. It's your body's way of speaking to you. It's not breaking down. It's asking for attention to those details you've neglected. You've spent 30, 40, 50 years taking care of others. Now it's your turn to take care of yourself. 9 tests, 5 steps, 3 months, and a return to the life you'd chalked up to age. My name is Roman Igorevich Tlyashev. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next week. The second is an organ that many people feel with their fingers on the neck, but almost no one tests it correctly. One test, and most people think they've figured everything out. But it's like looking at the hand of a clock that doesn't have a minute hand. A clock without a minute hand is about the one and only test they'll do when the doctor suspects a thyroid problem. It's called a TSH test, and most likely that's all there is to it. The thyroid is a small butterfly-shaped gland on the neck. It weighs only 20 grams. But it controls almost everything: body temperature, metabolic rate, heart function, memory, mood, and most importantly for our discussion today, energy levels. TSH is a hormone produced by the pituitary gland, a small area deep in the brain that controls the thyroid gland. If its levels are normal, doctors usually shrug. Everything's fine with your thyroid, but TSH is a command, not a result of its execution. Imagine, the boss shouts into an empty office, "Work!" The volume is normal, but no one checked whether the employees are working. You need 3 more indicators: free T4, free T3, and TPO antibodies. 4 numbers together, and the picture becomes clear. 1 is almost always deceiving. I've been telling patients this for 20 years, one after another. Now I'm saying it here to reach those who haven't yet come to my office. If this is important to you, subscribe. I come out every week. Now to the most important thing. Most people have a myth in their heads. Thyroid problems are a woman's problem. It's partly true. It's more common in women, but it's often overlooked in men because no one thinks about it. Andrei Viktorovich, 57, an engineer, came in complaining, "Doctor, I'm tired of living." Literally those words. He doesn't get enough sleep in the mornings, he's foggy at work, and by evening he falls asleep in the chair in front of the TV at 9 o'clock. His wife is already asking, "Are you sick?" He replies, "Age." They gave blood. A normal TSH of 3.2 is within normal limits. Free T3 is at the lower limit, almost dropped. Anti-TPO antibodies are twice as high as normal. Diagnosis: subclinical Hashimoto's thyroiditis. The thyroid gland is working but on its last legs. 10 weeks after the correction, Andrei Viktorovich came in for a checkup and laughs. "I told my wife, I look 10 years younger. And she tells me, you just finally woke up." Third chapter 5. Reason 3. Ferritin is a test they don't order for you. The reason isn't hormones at all. It's regular iron. But there's a catch. Hemoglobin can be normal, but the tissues are suffocating. Hemoglobin is the last line of defense. When it finally drops, the body's iron stores have been empty for months, sometimes even years. Your body protects your blood to the last. It will pull iron from your hair, nails, muscles, and brain, but it will try to keep it in the blood because without blood you die, and without hair it's unpleasant, but you can live. That's why normal hemoglobin and your iron levels are fine are not the same thing. They're 2 different planets. Iron in the body is stored in the form of a special protein called ferritin. Imagine a pantry. Ferritin is what's on the shelves. Hemoglobin is what's already on the table. If the shelves are empty, but there's still something on the table, the test will show normal. But in the pantry, there's silence and dust. How does it manifest itself? Hair is the first thing to disappear. You notice it on your brush, on your pillow, in the bathtub drain. Your nails become thin, and longitudinal streaks appear. Your palms and feet are cold even in a warm room. Climbing up the 3rd floor, which you didn't notice before, begins to take your breath away. And a strange thing, sometimes you want to chew on ice, specifically ice, not chocolate. This is your body signaling an iron deficiency. The phenomenon is called pica. We've known about it for 100 years. Now there's a number. The lab will say, the normal ferritin level is 10. That's true on paper. But in practice, below 70, you already have tissue starvation. Below 50, your tissues are suffocating. And the doctor will look at your 13 and say, "See, it's normal." This is especially true for women over 50. It's a paradox. You haven't had your period in a long time, but your ferritin is at 0. Why? 30 years of menstruation have depleted my reserves, and as we've already discussed, hydrochloric acid declines with age, making iron absorption from food worse. A double whammy. Natalia Borisovna, 59, a retired teacher, came in and said, "Doctor, my hair is falling out in handfuls and I can't stand it anymore." Her hemoglobin was 128, an excellent result. Ferritin was 14. A month and a half after the treatment, the amount of hair in my comb was back to where it should be, and I stopped falling asleep in my chair at 7 p.m. The fourth reason is even more subtle. You sleep at 8 a.m. and wake up like you've been unloading train cars all night. Chapter 6. Cause 4. Apnea. How to check in one night. The most unpleasant thing is that the first person to notice it isn't you, but the person lying next to you. I'm about to say something that will make some of you cringe. A person with severe sleep apnea stops breathing 30 to 60 times an hour. Every night, all night, for 8, 10, 12 seconds. The person doesn't breathe. The oxygen in the blood drops to levels measured in climbers at 4,000 meters. And after each such pause, the brain frantically wakes up for a second, half a second, to force the lungs to work again. The person doesn't remember it. In the morning, they think they slept for 8 hours, but they slept in quotes. This is what's really happening. The muscles of the pharynx weaken with age, just like everything else. When lying down, they sag and block the airway. It most often occurs in men with broad necks, overweight people, those who smoke, and those who drink in the evening. But here's the important thing. Slender, non-smoking women also suffer, just less often, and they're even less often thought about. How does it manifest itself? A morning headache? As if it were crushed under a sack. Dry mouth like sandpaper. During the day, you fall asleep in line in the car, at a traffic light, on public transport. Your wife tugs at your sleeve. Are you asleep? I was thinking. And your brain, after a night torn into 100 pieces, switches off at any free moment. And you know who will notice it first? Not you, not your therapist. Your spouse, your adult son, who came over for the weekend and heard you stop breathing in the night. Loud snoring, a pause, silence, and then a sharp snore, like a diver breaking the surface. That's apnea. You don't hear it. They do. You can test yourself overnight without leaving your bedroom. A pulse oximeter is a small clip on your finger. You put it on before bed and it records all night. In the morning, check. If your saturation drops below 90 even once, that's a warning sign. If it drops 20 times, run to a sleep specialist. Gennady Pavlovich, 64, a former driver. His wife told him point blank, "I can't sleep in the same room with you anymore. You're going silent, and I'm afraid you won't wake up." He was offended, but he went. His apnea index is 42 episodes per hour. 3 months after treatment, Gennady Pavlovich himself told me, "I'm dreaming for the first time in 10 years. The fifth reason has been addressed. Chapter 7, Reasons 5 and 6. Medicines in your medicine cabinet are stealing energy. And the sixth one you keep in your medicine cabinet right now and take, thinking it's healing you. Open your medicine cabinet not now, but after the video. Look at what's always there. Things you've been taking for years and have already forgotten why you started. These are the drugs we'll be talking about. I call them silent energy thieves. They're not harmful. You need them. Most of them really do. But they have side effects that doctors rarely warn you about. Because the appointment lasts 7 minutes, and the main thing is to keep your blood pressure up, and fatigue is something they'll talk about later. 4 main thieves. Remember, the first is statins, cholesterol drugs. It's true that they lower cholesterol, but they also cut off the synthesis of coenzyme Q10. And this is a molecule without which your mitochondria, the cellular energy plants, work at half capacity. This is where muscle weakness, heaviness in the legs, and the feeling of dead battery come from. The second is beta blockers. They're for blood pressure and heart rate. They slow your heart rate, that's their job. But they also slow your response to exercise. You climb the stairs, but your heart doesn't get enough speed. Your muscles aren't getting enough blood. You're standing on the landing and can't understand why you're so tired after just one flight. The third is proton pump inhibitors. Any medications ending in prazole, omeprazole, pantoprazole, esomeprazole. They're prescribed for a month, and the person takes them for 3 years. They do exactly one thing, block that very hydrochloric acid we talked about at the beginning. B12, iron, and magnesium are all no longer absorbed. The cycle is complete. The fourth is older generation antihistamines, suprastin, diphenhydramine, Tavegil. You take them for allergies, but they specifically target the brain's alertness center. This causes intense daytime sleepiness. Svetlana Mikhailovna, 63, 5 medications every morning. Doctor, I'm like a zombie. Together with her cardiologist and gastroenterologist, we went over every pill. 2 medications were removed completely. It turned out they were long overdue. One was replaced with a more gentle one. A month later, she said at an appointment, "I feel human again. I thought it was my age, but it turned out to be my medicine cabinet." And here's the most important thing, please, hear me out. Don't stop anything from this list on your own. Not a single pill. Some of these medications are keeping you alive. Abruptly stopping a beta blocker can end in a crisis. Abruptly stopping a statin, in a heart attack. You go to your doctor and say, "Let's review the list. What else is needed, and what can be eliminated now?" This is your right, this is your health. And the 7th reason, the deepest of all, is in the cell itself. And there happens what I call the silent chapter 8. causes 7 and 8. Mitochondria, sugar swings, and muscle suffocation. In each of your cells live little power plants. They are called mitochondria. There are hundreds to thousands of them in a single cell, up to 5,000 in the heart muscles. They take oxygen, take glucose, and turn them into energy. The same energy that gets you up in the morning, thinks, walks, loves, laughs. Without them, you're a corpse, even if your heart is still beating. Now the sad part. By age 60, the number of working mitochondria in the average person drops by almost 30%, a third. And in those who are sedentary and eat poorly, it drops by 50%. And this isn't fatal, but it is what you feel every day, called no strength. Why are they suffocating? They lack 3 things. Remember, this is important. The first is Q10, coenzyme Q10. I already mentioned it when I talked about statins. It is the spark that ignites the fuel inside the mitochondria. By age 55, its level in the heart muscle drops almost in half. This explains the shortness of breath on the stairs, the sluggishness after lunch, and the "I'm just getting old" mentality. Second, magnesium, a boring word we've all gotten used to. Meanwhile, magnesium is involved in over 300 reactions in the body, including the most important one, energy production. According to statistics, 8 out of 10 Russians over 50 get less than the recommended amount of magnesium. The signs are simple: nighttime calf cramps, eyelid twitching, unexplained anxiety, insomnia at 3 a.m. with a jolt. Third, vitamin D. And here's where I'll surprise you. Vitamin D isn't about bones. Well, it's about bones too, but that's its 5th job. Its main function is as a regulator of mitochondrial function. And in our latitudes, where there's almost no sun from October to April, 9 out of 10 people have a D deficiency, and most have a severe one. These are the numbers you need to know. Blood vitamin D should be at least 40, with 60 to 80 being optimal. Magnesium should be measured in red blood cells, not serum, because serum levels only show the tip of the iceberg. Coenzyme Q10 is rarely measured, but it's worth checking if you're taking statins for a long time. Valentina Sergeyevna, 68. Doctor, I feel like a wrung-out rag. Vitamin D is 11. Magnesium is at the low end. After 2 months of correction, I've forgotten what fatigue feels like. Is it even normal to feel this way at my age? It's normal, Valentina Sergeyevna. That's exactly how it should be. And then there's the reason, hidden in the word sweet. And most of you think you're doing just fine. That's where you'll be most surprised. Here's a scenario I see every week at my appointments. A person wakes up refreshed, has had a sausage sandwich for breakfast, tea with 2 spoons of sugar and cookies. By 10 a.m., he's already yawning. By lunchtime, he's seemed to have recovered, but at 3 p.m., it's as if the lights have been turned off. His eyes are drooping, his thoughts are cloudy, and he wants to lie down. Sound familiar? It's not his personality or laziness or "I'm a night owl." It's his sugar swings. And for most people over 50, they get worse year after year. I'll explain it in simple terms. You ate something sweet or starchy. Your blood sugar soars. The pancreas releases insulin, a hormone that drives sugar into your cells. Everything is fine. But with age, your cells become deaf to insulin. This is called insulin resistance. The pancreas releases more and more insulin. And at some point, it overdoes it, your sugar drops below normal, and you fall asleep at your desk. And here's the tricky part. Your fasting sugar is normal, 4.8, 5.2. The doctor looks at you and says your blood sugar is fine, and you go home tired, blaming it on age. But you have hidden insulin resistance. It damages your blood vessels, steals your energy, and adds belly fat year after year, but it's not visible in your blood tests. There's one simple indicator that reveals this. It's called the HOMA index. It's calculated using 2 values, your fasting blood sugar and your fasting insulin level. Divide the latter by the former using a formula any lab knows. A number above 2.7 means you already have insulin resistance. Above 3 is serious. Or it could be glycated hemoglobin. This is your blood sugar level over the past 3 months. Above 5.7 is prediabetes, above 6.5 is diabetes. And these tests will tell you the truth that regular fasting blood sugar hides. Mikhail Andreevich, 60, an engineer, came in complaining, "After lunch, I feel like I've been boiled for half the day. Fasting sugar 5.1 great. I asked him to take a HOMA test 4.2 and glycated 6.3. After 10 weeks of changing my diet, not a diet but a change, he calls and says, 'This afternoon I didn't want to sleep for the first time in 5 years. I forgot that this happens. There is one last reason left. And this is not some hidden analysis. This is what is melting away in you right now while you are watching this video. Every day, every year. After 50, it gets faster. After 30, a person loses about half a kilogram of muscle mass per year. Half a kilogram per year is not terrible, you think. In 20 years, 10 kilograms of muscle. Imagine a 10-kilogram kettlebell. That's how much living, working tissue is lost from you by the time you are 50. And after 60, the rate of loss doubles. And by 75, a third of people have less muscle mass than they need to get out of a chair without using their hands. This is called sarcopenia, a beautiful word for a very ugly phenomenon. Now let's connect this to energy, because here is the very loop that made me save this reason for last. Muscle isn't just something you move with. Muscle is the body's main consumer of glucose. Up to 80% of all the sugar you eat normally goes to your muscles. If you have little muscle, the sugar has nowhere to go. It circulates through the blood, irritates blood vessels, and turns into fat. And those sugar swings we just talked about become 3 times more ferocious. The muscles are gone, and the energy is gone with them. They are literally connected. How does this feel from the inside? You notice that opening a jar of cucumbers has become harder, that the grocery bag you used to carry up to the 4th floor without stopping now requires a break, that getting up from a low sofa requires bracing yourself with your hands. It's not "I'm tired," it's the muscles that are gone. Now comes the main myth, the reason I'm telling you this. People over 50 have this idea: protein is bad for you, it puts a strain on your kidneys. This idea was invented about 40 years ago, and since then it has ruined the health of millions. Healthy kidneys don't put a strain on protein, but a lack of it is guaranteed to destroy muscle. How much protein do you need? The old norm was 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. This figure was written for young people. For a person over 50, the real norm is 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram, and with active training, up to 1.5 grams. For a woman weighing 65 kilograms, that's 70-80 grams of protein per day. Do you eat that much? Do the math. Most people fall far short. Galina Petrovna, 71, complained of weakness and was afraid of falling. We added protein. Cottage cheese in the morning, fish or chicken for lunch, a handful of nuts, plus simple exercises with a resistance band. After 4 months, she can go to the market on her own with a heavy bag. And the phrase at the reception, "I stopped being afraid to get up. I told you all 8 reasons. Now a plan, a specific list." Chapter 9. List of 9 tests and 5 steps today with which you go to the doctor tomorrow. And one thing I usually don't say at the appointment, but I will tell you at the end. Grab a pen or open the notes on your phone. The main thing is about to happen. 9 tests that you ask your doctor for. Write them down exactly, not from memory. Holotranscobalamin is active B12. TSH, free T4, free T3, and TPO antibodies are a complete thyroid panel, not a single indicator. Ferritin is about iron reserves. The HOMA index and glycated hemoglobin are about hidden sugar swings. Vitamin D in the blood and magnesium in red blood cells are about mitochondria. 9 lines. Print them out. Take them with you to the appointment. If the doctor says, "Why do you need all this?" We'll get by with a general analysis. Politely insist. It's your body. You have the right to know what's going on inside it. If you suspect sleep apnea, get a pulse oximeter and wear it at night. Snoring, daytime drowsiness, and pauses in breathing heard by loved ones are a clear reason to see a sleep specialist. Now, here's what you can do today without spending a ruble. 5 simple steps. First, have a protein-rich breakfast. Not a sandwich or porridge with milk, but 2 eggs, cottage cheese, and a little fish. Protein in the morning provides energy for the whole day. Second, walk 10,000 steps or at least half an hour daily. Muscles grow from exercise. There's no other way. Third, go to bed before 11 p.m. Every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 hours after. This is the physiology of sleep hormones. Fourth, eliminate sugary drinks. Not sweets in general, but liquid sugar, juices, soda, sweet tea by the glass. It accelerates sugar swings the fastest. Fifth, review your medicine cabinet with your doctor, not on your own, but together.